Frictionless selling. It's a situation where you have this deal that just seems like it just works out. No major issue. Obviously, you have a little bit of friction where people might have questions, objections, things like that come up. But imagine if you could have that all the time. Imagine if you could have a situation where the deal continue just to flow properly. Oftentimes, we, the sales reps, bring the most friction and hold or hinder the deal from progressing. And in this episode, we're going to talk to Tim Kentz of Kentz Group, who's going to talk to you about how you can have those frictionless selling situations more often. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have our good friend, Tim Kentz. And Tim is going to talk about his experience, 30 years of experience. He also has written multiple books. But this book we're going to talk about today is Frictionless and how important that is in the sales arena and how salespeople can help make that happen. We're going to go over some of his experiences working with teams, working with his own team, and his own career as a sales professional. So you're going to be in for a treat today, but I only promise you this. I guess I promise you this. The only thing that you're going to get away is the thing that you actually listen for. Sometimes we're listening to podcasts and it's just kind of like you go in one ear and go out the other. But I want you to go into this episode, listen for how you can think about your sales process and how you can have that frictionless selling situation. And let's see how we can help you to improve. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, man, of course. I'm excited to have you, man. We're going to dive in and go heavy real quick here. But before we hit that stuff, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, Tim?
Yeah, Tim Kentz. I'm the president of Kentz Group. We primarily are training, consulting, coaching company for the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. I've been in the car business for, about 30 years now, and starting out from a detailer all the way through, and just kind of understand how tough it can be in sales sometimes. I think sometimes the further we get away from selling, the easier it was when we become managers. And my whole goal is just to help these guys succeed. As Zig Ziglar said famously, you can get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want out of life. So,
A to the man on that one. I'm a firm believer in that. Firm believer. This whole podcast, the whole business we have, came straight from that idea. So I'm fond of it. Go straight into it. I want to ask you this question. First off, you just released a new book. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, it's Frictionless. Might as well get a good plug in on it, right? Frictionless, closing and negotiating with purpose. It's obviously slanted mainly towards the car business, but really when it comes to closing and negotiating, the words may be different, but the technique's the same no matter if you're selling real estate, cars, or furniture. It's still the people business, man, and your ability to communicate and be confident at what you do.
So with this, we're going to come back to this and dive into it, but I have to ask the question because everyone here is on thinking the same thing. Unfortunately, whenever somebody says something about sales and they give a negative connotation, they always go back to the car industry. What do you have to say to that person, man? When they say, oh, man, you're a used car salesman, what do you say to those people?
We worked our ass off to earn that reputation. We weren't given that reputation. We earned it. And
earned that.
That's just a reality. When I started it in 1990, literally washing cars, that was the reputation then. And, there's been very little evolution. There's been, I guess we were blessed for 12 years or so to have booming economy after the recession.
Yeah.
So, it's the old saying, good habits are formed during bad times and bad habits are formed during good times. Well, times were really good. So why change? Why fix it? People were coming out buying cars. We weren't actually selling cars.
Yeah.
Now we got to sell and we got to change. We got to change the mindset. I think the biggest difference is customers today have choices.
Yes.
Every dealership is a click away from buying a car from them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if we don't deliver exceptional experiences, then we're going to be out of business. We're going to be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's the reality. We'll be Kodak.
Yeah. You can get into the Smithsonian, right?
Yes. That's right.
Because you said people are more people are in the buying, you have to sell now. So can you give us that differentiate, paint that picture for me where you have to sell a car versus people buying a car. Can you break that down and paint it for me?
Yeah, basically, consumer confidence was super high.
Yeah.
Interest rates insanely low. Inventory was there. People were making money. Unemployment was next to nothing. So trading in and out of a car every 2-3 years, that was just what they did. It was a luxury. We could afford it. We were confident enough to do it. Now, there's a lot of people. We got, 40 million new people on unemployment. There's a lot of lack of security right now, fear, anxiety, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's going through different stages, right? We all experience things different and handle things different, but it's kind of fear. And I keep reminding all the salespeople that, man, we got to make it about the customer now. It's not just selling the car. It's how are we building that relationship? It's service first to the customer. Things like offering home delivery and concierge service where we pick your car up and work. I've been installing that and talking to dealers about doing that for 5+ years. And the pushback I get, oh no, our guys could never do that. No, that's not how we do it. Well, now's the time to break the rules. Just because that's not the way it was doesn't mean it's not the way it needs to be. And we got non-traditional competitors getting in the car business, Carvanas, and who knows when Amazon's going to get in it.
Oh my goodness.
And we have to make sure, look, I'd rather buy from somebody I know. It's not so much about the money with me as much as it is about the service. I was telling my son the other day, you go to a restaurant, if it's got really good food, but the service sucks, you might not ever go back, even though the food's the best you ever had.
Yeah.
If you go there and have okay food, but the service is phenomenal, you end up going back.
Are you talking about Starbucks?
Exactly. It's that service culture and realizing people got options, man, in every industry. Real estate, right? They're getting hit from digital companies now all of a sudden. And if you're not doing that and building a relationship, and look, at the same time, we have to negotiate. Everybody wants to negotiate. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
But how do you negotiate where the customer feels good at the end of it, right? The win-win.
Yeah. Because most people, the reason why Carvana came into existence and also CarMax is because people said they didn't like the idea of, me buying a car from you, but then the whole rigmarole for 4 hours at the lot, going back to talking to manager and trying to finagle numbers and so forth. How do you go about how do you go about creating that experience, or what are some of your thoughts on how we can create that experience? And then I want to go into negotiation, but I also have a quote that you shared, and I have to ask you about Denny's, but we'll come to that too.
It's the car business, right? It's really understanding that customers want to, if they're going to spend the money, it's about value more than just about price. And I think salespeople so often just get out there, how much you want to spend a month, how much down do you have, and they start selling money. They don't create mental ownership, right? I always say customers have to take mental ownership before they'll take physical or financial ownership. And I think that's the experience people want. That's what I want. I'm looking at getting a new truck right now, man. I don't want to go grind out a deal for 4 hours, but at the same time, I want to negotiate and feel like I'm getting a good deal. Have you ever offered somebody amount of money for something and they're like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, I'll let you know, because you don't feel like you got a good deal.
Yeah.
There's no oh, you'll take it? Well, maybe I should have offered less. Right. But it's how you do it. It's how you set up that. And I think it really starts with the beginning of a deal. I get guys all the time say, I want to be a better negotiator. Okay, it's not the last 15 minutes of the car deal that made it tough. It's the first 15 minutes is what made it tough. Right? When you walk on the lot, you're guarded as a customer. My job's to lower your guard and find out about you, not tell you everything I know.
You mentioned before that everyone who walks on a lot is different, and that's exactly why car salespeople have to treat them all the same. You can't pre-qualify. You can't handle shortcuts in a sales process, and you need to you need to special handling. Can you just speak to that a little bit for me, a little bit more?
Yeah, it's about having a repeatable process, right? And when you walk on the lot, or I walk on the lot, or my wife, whoever walks on the lot, I can't look at you and tell what your credit's like, if you got good credit, bad credit, if you're going to be an easy customer, a tough customer. I can't tell if you've been shopping at 10 stores or been online. I have to treat you like you're the last customer I'm ever going to talk to, and give you all I have, and not shortcut, not pre-qualify. I have some stores that I've gone into, and some salespeople still in the industry. When you walk on the lot, they want to pull your credit first.
Yeah,
because they get a mindset of, well, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to go through trouble unless I have a buyer. Instead of going through the trouble to make them a buyer. Hell yeah, they're a buyer. They drove 30 minutes to get to your dealership on their day off with their family. They're a buyer, but I don't want to waste my time unless their real mindset is what you would hate it. I hate it. And every single customer, you treat them like they're gold.
Yeah.
It's a mindset thing, though.
And I love that you share that's a mindset. We've been really big on that growth mindset. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, you believe, your belief will turn into your action will turn into your success. And if you believe that, everyone that I talk to are non-buyers or they're liars, then you're screwed. You're screwed already. You're not going to ever succeed, because nobody you talk to, you can't make that pre-qualification without necessarily, like you're saying, putting in the hard work, talking and being human and going through with them. But
it's funny you say the buyers are liars. That's been around forever in the car business. No, they're not liars. We just ask stupid questions.
We need to make that quotable, team. Buyers are not liars. We just ask stupid questions.
Do you guys want to buy a car? Well, of course they're going to say, well, we're just looking. We're forcing them. Do you want to drive it? Well, no, if I drive it, I'm going to want to buy it. Hell yeah, they want to drive it. That's why they're there. If they didn't want to drive it, they'd be looking at it on the internet. Exactly. How much you want to pay a month? Well, they're going to tell you some stupid low number. I would. Everybody would. We eliminate some stupid questions, and we're going to make it. It's the controlling thing, man. It goes back to the salespeople. We just want to control the customer too much. Instead of asking empowering, open-ended questions, let the customer talk. They'll tell you everything you need to know about selling them.
What are some examples of that you might toss our way?
Well, I'm a huge believer of walking around the customer's car before you ever show them yours. I need to know, what did you like best about your current car that you want to get on your next one?
Oh, wow.
What did you not like that you want different on your new one? What's most important? It's open-ended. You've done your research. You have a really good idea. And you're going to tell me everything I need, because the car you looked at online may not be the perfect car for you. And, just because I went to, what is the WebMD doesn't mean I can go in and tell the doctor how surgery needs to be. They're going to tell me what they think surgery needs to be. Yeah. And not that the customer doesn't want that car, but I'm going to find out, because my job is to make sure we get the perfect car for you.
Yeah. Go back to what you said at the beginning. It's about creating that customer experience, right?
Yep.
Is that, yeah, you could return a freaking tire to Nordstrom if you didn't buy it from there.
That's right. That's what made
it great. All back.
That's right.
That's great, man. Everybody wants to be great at closing and negotiating, but all too often we just want to pick up a book full of tips and skim until we find the magic. We don't want to do the work. You said that. Right. Talk to me about that.
Look, everybody wants to be successful. Most people aren't willing to pay the price. Did you watch The Last Dance?
Oh my goodness, bro! Come on, I've been drinking.
Everybody saw the end result of what Michael did, but Tim Grover said, "You're in baseball shape. You're not in basketball shape. We need to get to work." When do you want to start? Michael said, "How about tomorrow morning?" Sheesh. And Grover's thinking he's going to say, "How about a couple of weeks? There is no." If you want to be great, you got to pay the price. And, what kind of sucks in selling, it's not like shooting free throws, right? You get instant gratification. Hitting a golf ball, you get instant gratification when you're practicing. Practicing a sales script, it's boring, it's mundane, it's repetitive. And most people don't have that mental strength to power through the boredom of it. And if you can put that time in and say the words out loud over and over, that's why I did audio recordings too, some downloads that people can download so they can listen to it over and over and say it with the scripts when I roll, when I roll through them. It goes a little deeper than the book because it gives the scripts, right? You can't put all the scripts in the book. Otherwise it'd be, War and Peace and 1,000 pages, but there's downloads to do it, but you got to say it out loud. And some people, well, I'm just not comfortable. I'm better with customers than I am practicing with my peers. No, you're not. The customer just doesn't know you suck.
Yeah.
Stop practicing on the customers. Start
Yeah.
practicing between the customers.
Boom. Stop practicing on the customer, practice between. I mean, I think about it, and I think it's like I played soccer, and sometimes we played against some I played in against some smaller schools. It wasn't like the big boys here in Palm Beach County, and you can go to some of these games and not have your A game and still perform well and win the game. And I think that caused us problems at time. We coasted as a team, but when we got to with some of the folks who were really up to our par, we realized that our lack of preparation was showed our doom and our demise. And I think it goes back to what you're saying. Like I can't go to the game practice. It can't be like Iverson. Iverson was like, practice, what practice, right? Yeah. You have to do your practice. That means, and I think that's where it separates the GOATs, the greatest of all times, and the average person, because the GOATs are willing to do the details. And look at Rodman. I didn't understand Rodman until after this series. Thought Rodman was like, kind of like, sketch a little bit kind of crazy out there. But Rodman, he was a scientist in a sense, in his craft. He knew, I love how he was explaining that he knew wherever the ball was, based on the trajectory of the ball, where it was going to go. And that's why he was able to pull a Wayne Gretzky and go where the ball or / puck was going to be, and was able to gain as many rebounds. It was amazing. But he couldn't have done that without watching tapes, without practicing, without sales rep reading or doing scripts or running through or role plays and so forth. Showing up to work early and doing those things.
No, it's absolutely right. Like you said, Gretzky, good player skate to where the puck is, great player skate to where the puck's going to be. And it's making sure that we know, look, in selling, what the objections are. Mm-hmm. If you're not prepared for them, then that's a lack of leadership of yourself. You didn't prepare for it. It's, Tom Brady and that, they did that celebrity golf thing with Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was listening to Charles Barkley was talking about him. He said he never seen anybody like Brady. Brady got up first thing in the morning, went out, played 18 holes. Then he went to the parking lot and did his football training with his physical fitness trainer, and then he went and played 18 holes in the celebrity tournament.
Amazing.
Practicing football in between 36 holes. I mean, that's the commitment. That's willing to pay the price.
Yeah,
and that's the hardest part of it. Marvin Harrison said that they pay us for practice and the games are for fun. And but that's what it needs to be, because selling is the easiest high-paying job you'll ever have, or it's the hardest low-paying job you'll ever have. But it all comes down to how good you are and your skill level. It's fun if you're good, and it sucks if you're not.
Yeah. Isn't that everything in life, though? Like in the same vein, right?
Find what you're good at. Do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life. Well, you're going to work. That's not always true. But, man, if you keep challenge yourself to get better, green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rotten. If you keep asking yourself every morning when you wake up, what am I going to do today to be better than I was yesterday? And then when you go to bed, ask yourself, based on what I did today, am I better than I was yesterday? That's what it takes to keep growing.
Yeah.
And there's days when you didn't get better, but they need to be the exception, not the rule.
Talk to me about negotiation, especially when it comes to, I think the principle of negotiating is going to be effective no matter if I'm selling software or if I'm selling cars. But what's the first thing that I should understand when I go into a negotiation with a buyer? Let's say I did the prep work, like you said, I did the prelim and I built value with them. Now I'm going to negotiation. What do I need to know that typically I don't know as a sales rep?
Number one, it's optional. If you did your job and you believe in the value of your product and the quality of presentation you did with it, and you had the customer on the right product, and you've earned the right to ask for the sale, negotiating is optional. I think sometimes we don't see the value in our product. So therefore we think we go right into, well, what's it going to take during your business? How low do we have to go? And all you do is dumb your product down in the customer's mind too, when you make it all about money. That's number one. Number two, though, is when you negotiate out of inspiration, not desperation. I think too often when we negotiate, we're more afraid of losing the deal than we are inspired to make the deal. Well, yeah, but that might not work. Yeah, but it might work. Don't negotiate out of fear. What John F. Kennedy, never fear to negotiate, but don't negotiate out of fear.
Oof.
And I think so often we're more afraid we're going to lose it than we are making it. So you got to believe you're going to make this thing happen. You're not going to make every shot, but if you go up, shoot that free throw and say, I hope I don't miss. Well, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
I think it's also comes down to understanding that in any negotiation, whoever cares least about the deal is going to win. Meaning that customer needs to want to buy your product more than you want to sell it.
Why do you think that's the case? Is that some kind of psychological thing, or is it just like a confidence? Or
if you can see that I'm willing to stand up and walk away from the deal,
yeah,
then that's when you're going to start working with me more. Right? It's sometimes the best deal you ever made is the one you didn't make.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't want to sell it, but whoever appears to care least about the deal wins. Meaning they want to buy that car more than you want to. Now it comes down to how good you did early on. Did you paint that vehicle in their life? Did you create mental ownership? Right? It's like a great realtor. They walk you through a house with your family. Man, they're having the kids pick out their rooms. You're already figuring out the colors, how your furniture is going to fit, what you need to buy. And when you walk out of that house with a good realtor, you've already mentally moved your furniture into that house. And you haven't even made an offer yet, and you've mentally moved your furniture into that house. And it's the same principle. You want that house before you put that first offer in. That's when you're going to win. And whoever starts a negotiation has the advantage.
So let's say I'm a B2B sales rep and I'm working with, working with the enterprise deal. And in that same vein, how do I go about building that type of, how do I go about, I guess it doesn't matter what you sell, but how do I start that negotiation in a way where I'm in a favor of a win-win?
Well, that's what we mainly sell. We're all business to business for the most part. We have a little B2C, but mostly B2B. And it's really the presentation. It's breaking it down, showing the value, what the return on the investment is going to be, and literally assuming that they're going to buy it. But one thing that I believe is critical in any negotiation, whether it's B2B or B2C, is having removable objections. Meaning you put things into the negotiation that you can afford to take out.
Such as?
If you come in a negotiation with your bottom line, your best deal, where's the win at for a customer? Whether it's B2B or B2C, you have to have built-in wins. Example, me and my wife buy rental houses.
Yeah.
Well, whenever we go out to buy the rental houses, I'll always make her add in, we want $2,000 paint allowance, and we want a fence allowance, and we want carpet allowance. I don't want any of that stuff. But I can pull those things out, and really I want the price.
Yeah.
Is the most important. So it's removable. When I'm selling a car, I'm going to go out and show you the best way to get your new vehicle. Okay. It may not be the way you're going to do it, but my job is to show you the best way. I'm going to show you 48 months with 20% down because I believe short-term money down on a depreciating item is the best way to go. And I'm going to show you a short-term lease also, but I can always extend out the term to 60 months. I can always go down to 10%, right? It's give, and help fit it in your budget. But if I went out there on the first pencil to you at 84 months with 0 down, where's the win for you?
Yeah. Because you're still going to come back and say, can you make it 90?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do you get my payment down to 486 instead of 525? Well, now I have to cut the price. Now I have to inflate what I'm giving you for your trade. And so now you got to understand gross profit. Those aren't dirty words.
Yeah.
But somehow salespeople in their mind think if they're making money, then they're doing something wrong. It's not fair to the customer. No, if you're delivering the value, hell yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
What's a good deal, right? I always remind them, a good deal is a feeling. It's perception. It's not a number. How do they feel about it?
Yeah. And I think that's, you hit on some things there. Because I go back to this idea that you said that everyone, you gotta, the only assumption you can reliable make about a customer at first glance is that they have some intention of buying a car, and someone who may have a higher budget point in a vehicle, that individual will be able to naturally, without fail, will be able to pay a little more. But someone who may not have that funding obviously won't be able to pay as much, but you can't make that assumption. You have to go into it that they're willing to buy a vehicle. And yeah, I think that's where when I did door-to-door security sales, sometimes people bought a lot more, the upsell, or they would buy, buy additional services or buy from multiple homes. But you have to give them those options. And I think that's probably one of the biggest part is giving them the options so that they can choose.
And making it budget focused, right?
Yeah.
Budget focused negotiation. Everybody's got different budgets.
Yeah.
Everybody's focus is different. And if I did my job in the first 45 minutes and got to know the customer and understand them, I lowered the guard. When I get to the negotiation, they're going to trust me. Okay, but if I get to negotiation, they don't trust me, then it's not the trust problem, because trust isn't given, it's earned. It's what happened early. I never lowered your guard. I never got your defenses down and leveraged the emotions so I can then use the logic to fit it in your budget later.
Yeah. Man, this was great, man. Tim, if there's one major piece of advice, you want to give listeners to this episode so they can walk away with, what's that advice, Tim?
Number one rule in selling, have fun.
Yes.
Have fun, man. And make yourself better. You're going to have more fun. I said it before. It's the sales, the easiest high-paying job you'll ever have, or the hardest low-paying job you'll ever have. But it comes down to, are you having fun? And the only way to have fun is to be great at what you do. And always challenge yourself every day to get better at something. And maybe I don't believe salespeople are born. I believe they're made. I mean, they were all born at some point, but you make yourself great, and you have to do the right things, man. But if you're not having fun, it's contagious. A sale is made when you transfer your enthusiasm to the customer.
Man, love it, Tim. If folks out there want to get in touch with you or check out your book, where do they go about doing so?
It's on Amazon Prime, so you can go to Amazon. It's a hardback. It's the hardback cover. It's frictionless. And then they have the Kindle version. It's not on audio yet. Or you can go to kentsgroup.com, and we have the book, and we have some other closing download, negotiation download, closer cards. We got a lot of learning assets on there, some flashcards for closes and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. I got a 10-year-old, so flashcards are big deal.
They're gold, man.
Yeah. So kentsgroup.com. Go there. My email, if you want to shoot me an email, is tim@kentsgroup.com. Reach out. I'm always around, especially now.
Well, we appreciate your time and your willingness to share so much advice, man. Thanks a lot, man, Tim.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
I absolutely love the conversation with Tim, and I highly encourage you to go ahead and connect with him. You can also check out his book. If you're watching this here on TSE TV on YouTube, you can just go ahead and scroll down to the links below, and you'll see the book. You'll also get a chance to learn about his organization, the Kent's Group, and some of the great things that they're doing. And also, if you find yourself in need, if you're in a car industry, automotive industry, you know somebody that might be, or if you still just want to connect with our good friend Tim, you can also just do that. I mean, do it as personable as you can see, and he is inspiring. I love having conversation with folks like this because it just gets you pumped up. I want to get off right now and go make a call because I'm that motivated and that inspired. Also love our examples. They're talking about Jordan and The Last Dance. If you want to go ahead and learn a little bit more about Tim, again, go back into the show notes. You can go back to our website, thesalesevangelist.com, or you can go to our group, the TSE Studios, and you get a chance to check out our podcast and also some of our sister shows there as well. As always, we do this because we want to help you. We have folks like Tim on a podcast. We believe what they have can benefit you as an individual. We also want to tell you about other products and other tools and other programs. And this is why I want to tell you about Interrupt. It's one of our sister programs that is absolutely amazing. And I recommend you check it out. You can find all the details again below or go to tsestudios.io. I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you actually reach out to them. I want you to be able to close a deal. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.